On the suit, drink water. Don't drink and drive.
Game over!
Take it light. Okay.
Now you're more fluent.
Mackinac, he got free!
Up, Bears.
So this is really good right here. Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. Welcome to the All American Hoops Podcast, episode 31. I'm your host, Chris Driscoll. And for those of you loyal watchers, you can either call this a familiar background or something unfamiliar, because obviously if you watch the show every week, this should be pretty familiar with you, but just in an unfamiliar face behind it. I am currently in regular guest John, my older brother's room. Obviously you've been watching the past couple weeks I've been dealing with some Wi-Fi issues, so knock wood, hopefully this is the solution to it. I don't know if it will be, but maybe I shouldn't even bring that up speaking to existence, but we'll see about that. Yeah, we got a great show ahead of us today. Unfortunately, John will not be joining us today. He just got a new job, so he's going to be going into the office a lot more. So he will be taking a few weeks off to start, but he'll definitely still be tuning in and giving his feedback to the show. So still be contributing just as much just behind camera. But we're super excited. Matt will be joining us as usual. We're also having our friend Tyler on the show. He's a massive Oklahoma City Thunder fan. So we'll be talking about the Thunder because they were hands down one of the biggest winners of the offseason. So we're really looking forward to talking about them with him. Obviously it is July in a fourth year. So the Olympics are currently going on, more specifically the basketball Olympics. And what's a show called All American Hoops, which, by the way, new merch in. It's the sunglasses one that I brought up a couple weeks ago. Very, very fun. Probably, I honestly like this T-shirt better than the one with the basketball on it. It feels more. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the coloring or something else. But yeah, I really, really like this one. So we were talking about Team USA. A lot of patriotism in the show, so we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about the rotations and who we think they should go through and everything. And lastly, we will the friends of the show, the Pick a Side podcast. But I think it was earlier. It was either earlier this week, a few days ago. They did a ranking of the NBA trios in the league. So each of us will be ranking our trios and discussing each of those. So we're all very excited to do that. And this is going to be an awesome show. This is the All American Hoops Podcast. Welcome to the show. As per usual, I'm joined by my younger brother, Matt Driscoll.
Chris, I got a couple things to say. One, as always, it's a pleasure to be on. Thank you for having me again. Two, changing to John's room after the Wi-Fi issues past couple weeks. We talk about great teams making adjustments. Great podcast, do that as well. That's a great job by you. And three, I know you're going to introduce him in a second. Just want to say it's an honor to be joined by a basketball historian, some are calling him, and a basketball savant. His fantasy basketball record did not show it this year, but fantasy basketball isn't everything. But honored to be joined by Tyler. I think Matt
took care of the intro. So Tyler, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me, guys. Super excited for this. And you're
absolutely
right, basketball is not everything. I got a lot of stuff to do.
No, it is not. Tyler, it's funny. We've had basketball conversations before, but I think the very, very first in-depth conversation we've had about basketball history was actually on a shift that we had at the Jimmy Scuccian. Actually, both of us were slacking. I'm pretty sure that was one of the first conversations we had.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have as I said in the intro, we have an awesome show ahead of us. So yeah, when I was deciding on the show, I feel like every single week I want to talk about a new team. We talked about the Nets and the Knicks last week. And I decided to spin the wheel this week and just pick a random team and decided to go with the Oklahoma City Thunder, which just so randomly happened that Tyler would, I picked the week that Tyler would be joining the show that we'll be talking about the Thunder. So, and definitely a good time to come on the show because the Thunder are, as I mentioned in the intro, I do think the Thunder are one of the biggest winners of the offseason. They acquired Alex Caruso for basically nothing and also signed one of the best I called him one of the best backup centers in the league this year, but however, maybe he's maybe looking a little more than that. So I'm sure you have more to say about that, Tyler. But yeah, what are your takes on the Thunder's offseason?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that they definitely had one of the best. I think they filled a lot of the holes that they had from last year, especially being the rebounding. Hartenstein was one of the best offensive and defensive rebounders last year, and he's going to have some help with Chet there too in terms of defense. And yeah, like you said, basically for nothing. Hartenstein's actually the biggest signing that Oklahoma City's ever made. I think before this, it might have been Jeff Green, who doesn't even really count as
Celtic
free
legend.
agent. Celtic legend, exactly.
NBA champion. Yeah.
And yeah, I remember that 2 times soon. Oh wait, no, never mind. But I'll get better at this as we go on. But
That's okay.
and Caruso, like you said, trading him for Giddey, I never really thought he fit into the team too well anyway, to be honest with you. I am going to miss him. I think he'll do great out in Chicago. But for what the team looks like right now, I think Caruso is a lot better of a guy to have there. Then adding on to that, I came across a stat called stocks, and steals and blocks together. And now with the Caruso and Hartenstein additions to the team, there's 7 players in the NBA right now with at least 85 steals and at least 65 blocks, and the Thunder have 3 of those 7 players. So coming off a great defensive season already, I think those 2 guys are going to amplify that even more. And yeah, hopefully Hartenstein helps with the rebounding. And yeah, I don't think there's a lot of holes in the team anymore after these. So I'm pretty excited for this year.
Yeah, Tyler, you made a lot of good points there. We were talking about it, I think, when you came over to watch one of the finals games. We were talking how the Mavs kind of exposed one of the few flaws the Thunder had last season, which was Chet is really more of a 4. I've said it a couple times on the pod, than a 5. He is 7'1". He is still a solid rebounder, but he's just not – he can't really bang with the big guys, So Hartenstein, the addition there is awesome. I'm not going to say I broke the news first, but I did predict it on the pod. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago that he would go there. And Caruso, I mean, SGA, obviously, he's an elite 2-way player. He's a great defender, but it just lessens the load on him more defensively. He did have Lou Dort to help him out with guarding the perimeter, but, I mean, you add Alex Caruso, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. Now SGA might be guarding if not the 5th best offensive guy on the team, depending on size and everything. He's going to be guarding the 3rd or 4th best offensive guy on the team. So that just increases the Thunder's defensive scheme, and they were already one of the best defensive teams in the league last year. And I don't think he's a plus defender by any means, right? Isn't he he's kind of weak on the defensive end, right? And from the 2022-2023 season into this season, Giddey in every statistical category regressed. I know he took a lesser role, but he was even less efficient in his role. So I think trading him for Caruso without giving up any picks to a rebuilding team is a massive, massive win for the Thunder. And I think 2 days ago they re-signed Isaiah Joe. Right? Yeah, I mean, keeping your young guys, signing them to extending them when you have the chance to, it's a winning strategy. So I think the Thunder are definitely the winners of the offseason.
100%.
Yeah, great thing said. And I've been a big critic of the Thunder the past couple of years, more specifically of Stan Presti, simply because I consider myself kind of like an impatient analyst. I'd like to see results, but more than projecting the future. But however, the Thunder are going all in, after seeing some success. So that's something that I always respect. Is when a team sees their window, going all in. That's something that I always respect, and something that's the Thunder are absolutely doing right now. I don't think that you have any glaring weaknesses, but however, if we're gonna nitpick, like what you should do with every single team, I don't know if you'll disagree with me here, Ty, but I would like one more playmaking guard off the bench, because as great as Caruso is on the defensive end, I don't know how great he is with his playmaking. He's a good shooter and everything, and maybe you don't need too much playmaking when you have SGA, but I just like to see a little more playmaking off there rather than some of the iso ball players. But I don't know what your thoughts are there.
I think, I agree with you all around. I think a lot of the rotations that the Thunder try to implement have at least, if not SGA, have J-Dub on the court, at least one of them,
right.
On the court at one time. And I think as much, J-Dub's not really like a giant playmaking guard necessarily who can, make the team better necessarily, like an SGA or, any point guard really. But I think he's a great ball handler, and I think he can control an offense. And he's like, at worst an average passer. So
Right.
if he's not getting the scoring done, you can get guys like Joe involved and stuff. But I do agree with you. If there was one thing that I could add to the team, it would be probably another playmaker off the bench. But I think having J-Dub on the court most of the time, at least, and Aaron Wiggins here and there,
Right.
they'll do all right, I think.
Yeah. You may have answered the question in there, but who do you think is going to be the X factor for the team?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think, Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe are both huge. And the obvious ones are Caruso and Hartenstein. But
Right.
I think coming off of last year, I really like what I saw out of Lou Dort. I know he's been there for a while. I think he's actually been there the longest of anybody on the team right now. But if his offense can stay consistent, which it did not in the playoffs last year, I think that's going to be a giant X factor, because in the regular season, if I'm not mistaken, I think he shot around 43% from three. And in the playoffs, he was in the mid 30s, lower 30s.
Right.
So that's a huge drop off for a guy that, his role is to play defense, get in there and hit a few threes. And if he's not doing that offensively, that could kind of make or break the team. So I think Dort, honestly.
I still can't believe Lou Dort went undrafted. I know Dan Greenberg, Barstool guy we followed for the Celtics, really wanted the Celtics to get him, and they didn't. But, great pickup again by the Thunder. I feel like they got a lot of homegrown guys. I'm assuming it's my turn to pick the X Factor, Chris. I don't know if you want to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to go with it's kind of like sort of an obvious choice, but Jalen Williams. I know he's like you would say he's the third best player on the team now. Yeah, J-Dub. Yeah, the one of the Jalen Williams on the team. You would say he's the third best player, or will be the third best player on the team next year. I know he had a tough series against the Mavericks this playoffs, but he just needs to take like another step going into his third year, and I think this team could be. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Be the favorite to come out of the West. He took a massive leap from his rookie year to his sophomore year, and I think if he takes another leap of that size, he could be. He could be an all-star in this league. So if he just contributes more consistently in the playoffs, I think he had a good first round, but I think everybody on the Thunder had a good first round. Not discrediting that, but yeah. So I think like you said, Lou Dort, just more consistent play, which it will come with experience. I think he'll be a massive X factor.
I 100% agree with you, Matt. J-Dub was going to be my answer. He's entering his third year, so the fact that he had I used to get annoyed like when people brought up the Jaylen Brown comparisons, but that being said, like the fact that he was doing this in his second year is just extremely impressive. It's impressive in and of itself, and I think that if he takes like another leap in this third year, that's going to be huge for them. But even if he stays like consistent, like if he stays like how he played in the second year for his third year, and then just continues it along in the playoffs, like that alone will be huge for them. And as long as he doesn't just I don't want to use the word fall apart because I feel like it's a little disrespectful, but like as long as he just stays consistent in the playoffs, that'll be huge for them. But yeah, Matt brought up predictions for the West. I guess Ty. I was thinking about how I should phrase this, but I guess so. Do you think that the Thunders are the favorites to win the West? And if they are or not, who are the biggest threats to them? So that's two-parter.
I think I could definitely see them getting the 1 seed again. One of the first things I did when I was thinking about this projection, honestly, was going back to, as you guys probably know, they were the youngest 1 seed ever last year by a pretty decent margin. Mm-hmm. It was by about 2 years of average age. So to answer this question, I went back to the original before this year, the youngest 1 seed ever. Much different team, but I think it can give you a good, look into how much they may or may not improve. And the 04-05 Suns were actually the last team that were the youngest number 1 seed.
Interesting.
They were 62-20, and that was Steve Nash, Stat, Joe Johnson, Sean Marion. They opened the year at like plus 10,000 to win the title, ended up reaching the Western Conference Finals. So a pretty similar year to the Thunder in terms of expectations versus how they actually did. And In that offseason, though, they lost Quentin Richardson, who averaged 15 a game, and Joe Johnson, who averaged 17 a game. And that, I think, anybody could see that's a pretty big loss. And I think this year the Thunder have gotten better. So using that, the Suns went from 62-20 to 54-28, which is still really good, and they were still the second seed. So, and they made the conference finals again. So I don't know. I think the Thunder improving this offseason, filling some of those holes. I think they have a real good shot of getting the 1 seed again. I'd like to say they're the favorite to make it out of the West, but considering that Suns team made it back, they're still 2 years older. So even if they were the youngest at the time in comparison to the rest of the league, they were still older, and I think that age can still totally get in the way of the Thunder. So getting the number 1 seed, I think, is likely, but I think conference finals is a realistic ceiling for them right now. I think their biggest – I'll say I kind of expect the conference finals, and the finals would be awesome, obviously. I think that the Celtics still have their number no matter what. If they do, I don't think they'll win the championship, but I think the finals are realistic, but I don't expect it necessarily. I think the biggest threats to them for sure are the Timberwolves, who are also young. Obviously, the Mavs, you could argue whether they improved or not with Klay Thompson, but some are saying they're not going to make the playoffs anymore, but that's neither here nor there. They just
Still my joke.
Oh, sorry, but
no, it's okay.
Yeah, they have, just them making the finals once and beating down the Thunder like they did last year. They're a big threat too. And honestly, it sounds crazy, but I never want to sleep on the Lakers. I don't. I know they're not, their depth isn't the best, but there's just something. LeBron has that factor no matter how old he is, where it's like you never really can count him out, especially when he is, Anthony Davis and now his son. So maybe that's some extra motivation. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think 1 seed in conference finals is my prediction.
You said you can never count out the Lakers or don't sleep on the Lakers. I am going to tuck myself in and sleep on the Lakers from October till June. I am very okay with counting out the Lakers when talking about the Western Conference Finals. I just looked it up. The Thunder are the favorite to come out of the West right now at plus 400. The Nuggets are right behind them at plus 420.
I didn't even Nuggets. They're also obviously giant.
Yeah. The Mavericks are third and the Timberwolves are fourth. I do think the Timberwolves are a bigger threat. And after that, the Timberwolves are plus 500. After that, the Lakers are fifth at plus 1,800. So
really?
Vegas
Wow.
only
not the Grizzlies
that can come out of the West.
I thought the Grizzlies would be there.
Grizzlies are plus 2,000. Little value bet.
I think they have, yes, hands down the best value in my opinion, but
maybe
don't quote me on
sprinkle. We'll sprinkle.
Yeah.
Clippers too. Go Russ.
That's my LA Clippers. Go ahead, Matt. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
I am going to agree with Vegas here. I think the Thunder do come out of the West this year. I think that maybe they need more experience. I think that's fair, but I mean, SGA is going to be 27, I believe, this season. Hartenstein, I think, is 29. Maybe he's turning. I forget. I don't know. Maybe he's younger than that, but he's 30 already.
Caruso's 30. Hartenstein.
Caruso's 30. Yeah. So it's not like these guys haven't played in the league for a while. I know playoffs are a different animal, but I know you can't count out Jokic. One of the best trios in the league: Jokic, Gordon, and Murray. But the Thunder the Nuggets got very worse this offseason with the loss of KCP. The Mavericks. I was totally wrong about them going into the season. I did not expect them to make it out of the West. They did add Klay Thompson, which does help their shooting a little bit, but their perimeter defense is still really stinky. That was the term used to describe on NBA.com. Stinky.
I agree.
I think the two teams are going to be the Timberwolves and the Thunder to battle for the West. We talk about defense, and defense is insanely important in the playoffs, and these are two of the best defensive teams in the league. But I think the Thunder are just the better team now with the additions of Caruso and the additions of Hartenstein. And I think all the young guys take a leap, so they're my pick to come out of the West.
Matt, I'm sorry. Did you say that Shea is in his mid-20s?
I did.
Based on the way that I heard the media talking about it, though, you would think he's 5 years younger than Jason Tatum. So I don't so I don't really know what you're talking about there, but you might have to follow up on that later. But we'll see. But yeah, the Thunder are my pick to win the West as of now. I think they're the only team that did that made improvements to their roster. The Mavericks, I said it last week. I said last week, I don't believe in them at all. I think there's a better chance that they lose in the first round than make it to the conference finals again. Not even the finals, the conference finals. I think that they're going to be awful on defense. Like PJ Washington is their best defender. Unless Derek Lively takes like another step, which he might, he's going to be a sophomore. So so there's a very high chance of that. But I know we live in an analytical era, but this perimeter defense matters, and the Celtics showed that this year. They're going to show that they're going to show that even more.
Luka's better now, though. Luka's better.
Yeah,
or not.
Please, yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Nuggets. We'll see how much of an X factor KCP is. Like they still have a really solid core four, but after that, it's pretty brutal. After that, but I guess if you're going to have a team where you have a good core four and drop off, it's going to be a team where you have two of the best player risers in the game. But you need both of them to rise, not just one of them. So Murray will be the X factor there. The Wolves are another good pick as well. But as I mentioned earlier, I do believe the Memphis Grizzlies as well. So maybe it might take them another year to like readjust to it. But however, I do believe in John Morant, JJJ, Desmond Bane, and Marcus Smart more specifically too. So I don't know. Maybe I feel like they might trade Smart at the deadline, but if they want to get rid of like another ball handler and bring in like another wing or something, but we'll see about that. But yeah, the Thunder are my pick as of now, mainly because they are the team that have improved and they're getting better with experience. So they'll be my pick to win the West as of now. But obviously, like I don't make my official predictions until the opening night eve. So we'll see what happens there.
I feel like it's a total plot twist. I was expecting, both of you have them coming out of the West and the fan doesn't. I think it's just like fear. I want to expect. No, you should have seen me. I was on the 6 Degrees North podcast with Sports Fluent and 2 other non-Celtics fans. And it was when the Celtics were up 3-1. Keep in mind, they said like, "Oh, you nervous about the Celtics?" I said, "Yeah, I'm nervous. Like, I'm going to be nervous until they win." They're like, "Oh, come on, don't be nervous." So yeah, 100%. Yeah, we 100% there. I got wood in front of me. I'm not going to wood. I hope so, though.
Yeah, it's the Celtics fan. It was the first time they'd won in 16 years, but it's also the Mets fan and us. We know to never get too excited about anything as well. Yeah. So
3-1 to the Warriors. Never forget that.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool. So moving on. We got one of the more wonderful, exciting times of the year. So I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna rep it by the merch. I know 4th of July already passed, but we still got very nice gear on. Oh wait. Before I do any of that, so Matt and Ty, do you want to show off your shirts actually before you guys? Yeah. I know they're not for sale, but yeah, Ty, if you want to give an explanation as to what that is, that'd be awesome.
This is my father's band that he reunited from the 1990s, and they're making a comeback. Yeah, the boys are back, and they're not for sale, but you can always come to. I'm actually not going to say my address on the internet, but you can always come in if you need them. We'll print them.
Maybe one day they'll be for sale.
Yeah, one day. For now, they're given out by demand. So.
Yeah. Wait, sorry, Chris. Before you start, I just wanted to say that Tyler's dad invited a lot of us over to watch his band play, and it just even more proved the fact that he is way cooler than Tyler. So,
and all of us actually.
Yeah, all of us. Yeah, not just.
don't worry, Ty. Yeah, our dad is much cooler than us too. So it's yeah. So there's not much. Yeah, and Tyler knows that as well.
You gotta get them on the pod. That would be something.
Yeah. One day, yeah, we'll get him on one day. But yeah, I think he's cool for now. But yeah, that was a good night. That was a great night. That the band was together and some great music and some great vibes as well. But yeah, the reason that I pointed to the merch was because I'm a very patriotic guy, and more specifically, going to be even more patriotic watching Team USA play this year. So, Team USA is currently playing. This week they started training camp this week. And it's always just awesome to see like the highlights of just like all the best players in the world going at it. I know that it doesn't include players like Jokic, Giannis, Luka, or SGA, but still, like these are like the best like American grown players just going at it. And I feel like it's one of those things that we're gonna see, like documentaries of in like 20 years or so. Like, I know that one of Matt's favorite videos is the video of Magic Johnson telling his story. Like what is it? Like, I think he was going out with Jordan. Like, yeah, I feel like we're definitely gonna see some like funny comment from Joel Embiid in 20 years or whoever it is.
I like that when Magic is behind Michael and Larry.
Yeah.
And he's like, everybody's like, put your hand on his shoulder. And he's like, you can't touch Michael. It's a foul.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the biggest talking point so far has been who should the starting five be. And I know you guys have your lines prepared and everything, but I just want to read off the 12-man roster as of now. And I say as of now because we're going to deeper dive into that. So the 12-man roster as of now, and this is in no particular order. This is just the like the way I have it written down. So we have Steph Curry, Drew Holiday, Tyrese Halliburton, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bam Adebayo, LeBron James, Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid, and Anthony Davis. So, Matt, did you want to go first in giving who you think the starting five should be?
I am debating between two guys to start. One would make more sense for position, but the other would just be really cool to have the starting lineup.
I think I'm right with you here.
So I think I'm going to do that.
Yep.
Curry is going to be my one. And then, so the two is what I was debating. It was, do I start Ant or do I go somewhere else? And I think I'm going to go somewhere else. I think I'm just going to go Tatum, KD, LeBron, and then Embiid at the 5. And just who is scoring on that 5 ever. So, yeah, it doesn't make sense because, who's going to play the 2? LeBron could play the 2 or anywhere. So I'm just going to put that. Maybe Curry the 2, LeBron the 1. That's what I'm going to do.
That's exactly that is
I'm surprised that I haven't seen that. Like, I haven't seen that alternative lately, like from what people said. So yeah.
I had Ant as my 2 all day, and then you just read off the list, and I was like, it'd be really cool if the wings were Tatum, KD, and LeBron. So I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, yeah, go, Ty.
I have a fun list and a realistic list. My fun list is LeBron at the 1, and then Steph, Tatum, KD, Embiid. I think a realistic one is either you're probably going to put Steph at the 1, and then I have Kawhi / Tatum at the 2. Not really sure. Depending on size. I don't know. I know the last couple Olympic teams lacked a lot of size, so they might want to make sure that they have that covered. But Steph, Kawhi, or Tatum, then LeBron, KD, Embiid. I think LeBron, KD, Embiid are that's going to have to be the 3 through 5. That's disgusting. I thought about starting AD because of size again, but I think that they'd rather have more size coming off the bench anyway because their backup big, if it's not AD, is Bam, and he's notoriously undersized. So,
right.
I think that's the likely lineup.
I think it would be so cool if the starting 5, like, I'm looking at this from a basketball lens now, not from a Celtics fan lens, would be Steph, Kawhi at the 2, LeBron at the 3, KD at the 4, AD at the 5, because you could debate those have been the 5 best players of the 2010s. And it's something that, and they were always the 5 that like I would always, like, if I wanted to challenge myself, I would always pick that 5 to go up against in 2K blocks up. Like, it was always those 5 guys that I would go up against. And usually lose because I would always play in the most difficult. I would usually play on Hall of Fame mode. So, and I would usually pick the Eastern All-Stars too. So, but so that was a lot of fun there. But as far as it goes for basketball sense, I think it's part of the ones that we've been saying. So I think Steph is a lock. I think he might be the only, I think Steph and LeBron are the 2 locks. I think Tatum will be. I don't think Tatum's a lock, but I think he's pretty close to it because he's because he started last time around, but then again so did KD. But I don't know. You're gonna have to start either Embiid or AD. I'm thinking we're probably gonna go with Embiid there. So we got a 5. We got Steph at the 1. We got Tatum and LeBron at the 2, 3, 4 area, and then I guess I'm probably gonna have to go with KD there. I'm gonna start KD over Ant for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as great as Ant did, as great, and even though we swept him, I'm still very confident, confidently taking KD in this type of setting. Not in every type of setting, but like in an Olympic type of setting, I'm taking Kevin Durant.
Well, Ann is the
Was
number
he-
one option apparently.
What was that, Ty? Yeah.
I was just gonna say, am I wrong, or was he on the 20 team, 16 team, 12 team, and 08 team?
I
Kevin
don't know if he
Durant?
was he on 08?
KD.
I thought maybe he was a rookie, but I could be wrong.
I don't know
Might
if
be
he
just
was.
20, but he's
Yeah.
got quite the experience.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think we'll have to start him.
Okay, yeah, that's makes sense. But and I feel like
Kevin Durant was not on the 2018.
okay, yeah,
Okay.
thanks for looking that up.
That was-
Okay,
Kind of spot change, but
The Redeem team, 2018.
that's right.
You see
Yeah.
what they're calling this team?
no.
The
Was-
Remind team, because you see that loser
Oh, yeah.
Noah Lyles saying not a world champion. It is. Come on.
Losers.
All the
Yeah.
best players in the world come to the NBA. I
The
don't
two best
understand.
players in the NBA right now are international. Giannis and Jokic are
Maybe
international.
Maybe three, Luka.
Yeah, maybe three. Well,
That's
Jason Tatum was born in America, but three out of the top four is are
Whatever.
international.
Whatever.
Okay, yeah. But speaking of which, so how do you think this team like how do you build it's pretty tough to build an identity of teams because even though we criticize Steve Kerr and Ty Lue for not being great coaches because they were just gifted LeBron and Curry, the two of them do have experience of coaching very, very great teams, so that's pretty great there. Who else do they have? Eric Spoelstra coached LeBron before, and Mark Few hasn't coached in the NBA but has coached Gonzaga, who has had some dynasties there. So I'm just wondering, I'm not really concerned about managing the locker room issues. Maybe that is going to be an issue. I don't think so though. But how do you pick who to play through? Because I do think that Jason Tatum is the best player on the team. I know some people might argue Ants, which is silly. I know that some people think that Embiid is, which you can make an argument that Embiid is the better player if we're talking about from the wider scale. But however, in a big game, I'm very, very confidently taking Tatum. And then also people would just say, "Oh, Steph, KD, and LeBron, they're the three faces of the NBA." So I don't know how I don't know how you guys would think about who you go through or which combinations would you go through. I don't know what you guys are thinking there.
Ty, you can go first.
Honestly, from you saying that's crazy. I didn't even really think about the fact that Tatum probably is currently the best. If it's not Embiid, it's easily Tatum. Because I guess when you just see the names Steph, KD, LeBron, you automatically sort of just go there.
Right.
My very immediate answer to this question was going to be LeBron. Of course, LeBron. But I don't know. He's 40 years old. That's a really good point. So I think, I think probably Tatum. Just also because I think when you have a team that good where every player, is an all-star, running a team through your center just feels a little odd. I don't know why. Maybe that's just me, but it'd be a lot of post play and stuff. So if you were going to run the team through a player, I think it'd probably be a perimeter guy. That being said, I guess it probably would be Tatum. Yeah, that or I still think LeBron is in the conversation. I'm not saying that he's not, but yeah, Tatum or LeBron, definitely.
Like you said, sorry, Chris, if you want to go, you can go ahead. All right, yeah. Like you said about the team with this much talent, it's weird to kind of play through the center. I don't know if how different international play is going to be, but definitely in NBA that would be weird. But I'm really lost about who to play through. I do think Jason Tatum is the best player on the team, shockingly. My unbiased opinion, but Tatum showed this year that he doesn't have to have the ball in his hands the whole time. At times, majority of the time, the Celtics were playing through him, but at times they were not playing through him. They were playing through Jaylen Brown, or they were playing through Kristaps Porzingis. We saw that in the finals and in the playoffs and all throughout the regular season. So maybe play through Curry. I don't know. He's one of the best offensive players of all time. I think if you stick Tatum on the wing or the corner and just let the offense come to him instead of forcing him the ball, or not forcing, but forcing the offense through him, could be better. But I was between Tatum, Curry, or LeBron, and Tyler, since you said LeBron or Tatum, I'm going to pick Curry.
Correct.
I'd honestly go 2-man game with Curry and Embiid on probably. You can't double both of them. Obviously you can't leave Curry wide open. He's going to make every single three, and then if you leave Embiid wide open, he's going to score every single time in the post. And I know you can criticize Embiid, but at the end of the day, the Olympics isn't for the entire season. It's only for a couple weeks. So I think as long as Embiid is able to stay healthy, I think he'll be one of the best players on the team. And if you go like the 2-man game with them, either LeBron, KD, either LeBron, KD, Tatum, Kawhi, Ant, D-Book, one of them will be open. So, and that'll be huge there. But the one player I'm wondering about actually is Drew Holiday, because people are talking about like how he's one of the leaders on the team and everything, and he's definitely the best perimeter defender on the team, and that's including Kawhi because he's taken a bit of a step back lately. So definitely the best perimeter defender on the team. I think AD is the best overall defender on the team. So I'm just wondering how he's going to be incorporated into the mix there.
I said this to Chris earlier. Doing these lists and messing around with the rotation and looking at some of the older teams, it made me realize like how ridiculously good this team is. And with the topic of playing through a player, I don't know if they're really even going to need to be honest with you.
I don't think so.
Switch every single possession and they would be totally fine. I mean, almost every player on the team can shoot. Almost every player on the team can play defense at a high level. I mean, I just don't see a world where they lose a game, or even not win a game by 20. I mean, this is the best team we've had easily since 2012.
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, the only team that I can really see them putting up a fight against them is France, because I think they're gonna. I don't know if Gobert's playing, but like they're gonna have they have like the massive size difference. Like Wemby's gonna be there, so the only time that I can see them losing is if they're cold from three. Because if they're cold from three, I don't know how they're gonna score inside either. But that's the only team that I see them losing to.
Yeah, Gobert and Wemby in the middle, and I don't think there's a defensive 3 seconds in the Olympics, so they could just camp in the paint.
He's also a new bowl when he's like this under the basket. It's gonna be both of them the entire game. I didn't even think about that.
Also, Team Canada's pretty good too.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'd beat America, but yeah, SGA, shout out the Thunder. Yeah, SGA, Fred VanVleet, I believe. Who else they got? RJ Barrett. Dylan Brooks. They had a lot of solid NBA guys. But Tyler mentioned it. The offense for Team USA is obviously amazing, but their defense is insane. Yeah. You say you got Tatum, you got AD, you got Bam, you got Drew Holiday coming off the bench.
Kawhi.
I didn't even mention Kawhi. KD can play defense. Joel Embiid is one of the best rim protectors in the league. Yep. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton's a traffic cone, and Curry's not a great defender. But other than that, I think everyone else is like an elite defender. I wouldn't even say they're just solid defenders. I think besides, Devin Booker is.
I think KD's pretty. I think KD's pretty below average at this point in his career. But
interior though, he's that length can really
interior 100%. Yeah, absolutely. But speaking, and I'll go back to the building of 5 thing anyway. But like, say it's a tie game. Say they're up. Either up 1, up 2 with the 5 seconds left. The 5 that I'm going with to make a stop, I'm going with Drew. I'm going with AD. I'm going with Bam. I don't know if I'm going to go with Embiid because I want AD and Bam to be able to switch. I'm going with Tatum, and I'm probably going with Kawhi. Kawhi isn't as good as what he used to be, but however, he has had a couple months off at this point, so I think he will be able to buy in on defense. So good luck scoring on that. Good luck scoring on that squad.
First team defensive. Like that's a first defensive team right there. Those 5.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was looking at some of the teams too, and just real quick, with the World Cup team and how you were talking about this being the Remind team or whatever. Just looking at the bigs we had on that team and how we lost to Canada, our 2 or 3 biggest guys on the team, we had Kessler. But after that, it was Jaren Jackson and Bobby Portis. So if you wanted to put Walker Kessler at the starting center, you would have Bobby Portis as your backup 5. And I think that was easily – I mean, we got out-rebounded. I think it was 42-28 to Canada last year. And that is – even if there was a Gobert and Wemby team out there, I really find it hard, seeing this team get massively out-rebounded when you have AD and Embiid. So I'm excited to watch this. Yeah, very excited.
Mm-hmm. And last topic for the Team USA. Woj reported yesterday that KD is probably going to be sidelined for like the first couple weeks of training camp. If he's not good to go, who are you replacing him with?
Who am I replacing KD with?
Yeah.
I know a
So-
lot of Knicks fans were bitching about Jalen Brunson not making it. So maybe him. But I mean, do you replace KD with another wing?
I don't want Jaylen Brown playing in the Olympics. I don't want too many Celtics in there. It would be very cool to see Jaylen Brown like win Finals MVP and get a gold medal in the same summertime. And I love the guy more than anything, and I think he would be able to take it in the load. But I feel like at this point, he's probably I think he has his mindset on the offseason. I don't think he has his mindset on the Olympics. But maybe maybe he is willing to go in there. But I'm not sure who else would be a good option.
Yeah, last time I checked, he was in some like Middle Eastern country.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he was doing over there, but I don't think he's worried about playing in the Olympics right now.
Yeah.
So my pick's gonna be Jalen Brunson.
I think Paul George is a good option.
Paul George, good option.
I also think Chris Middleton is a good option. He's a returning
right.
player. And something in me also wants to say J-Dub is not a terrible option either. Just speaking from a pure wing standpoint, I think those guys are good. Is
Former
J-Dub
US. I think I don't know if he's actually.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Paul Banchero is a great option too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, does he count? Isn't he like fake Italian or something? I don't know.
He played for
He's
Team
born
USA.
there.
I think he is. Yeah, he played for Team USA in the FIBA though. So he's definitely eligible to play in the USA. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Do we know when the first game is? I don't even know. Because I'm sure if it's not we'll definitely talk more about it next week. But cool. But for now, as I mentioned in the intro, our friends at Pick a Side, I think it's pretty cool. Like it's pretty cool to say our friends, like for guys that are pretty well known, like because Joel Dells and River Brown, friends of the show, did their segment on the top 10 trios in the league. So I instructed Matt and Ty to give their top 10s, and after that, I will be I'll be bringing out my internet rights and giving my entire segment for the entire league for ranking the trios. But for now, Tyler, would you like to go first? And do you guys want to go 1 through 10, or do you want to go 10 through 1? I'm thinking go 10 through 1, just because.
Cool.
Yeah,
I like 10 through 1.
You like 10 through 1? Yeah. Okay, we'll do that.
Quick little tidbit first. The first game is actually tomorrow. So
Cool.
That's probably the scrimmage. The scrimmage though. That's not like an action.
Is Vegas? Oh yeah, it's in Paris. Whatever. First scrimmage game tomorrow. Get excited.
Yeah,
They actually
yeah.
play Canada, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
that'll be fun. All right. So the top 10 trios. I had a lot of fun doing this segment. I have to say. And I don't know if my number one is going to make this podcast specifically happy, but
Whoa.
yeah, I'm going to go for
All
it.
right. So Tyler's listening valid. Go ahead.
Coming out hot.
At number 10, by the way, one of the two main ways that I ranked this, I started with points per game between the three of them, but obviously that's not a great way to encapsulate everything that each player does. And I also looked at offensive box plus minus and defensive box plus minus average between the three of them. I thought that might be a
Fitting in right away using box plus minus as a stat. You're fitting in the All-American Hooper brand right away. Yeah, you did your homework.
Definitely. I just think that's a better way. Obviously, it's not exact.
I agree.
But
I agree.
especially because a lot of these trios, I'm pulling a player from another team, like the Mavericks, for example, and it's kind of hard. And the Sixers, it's kind of hard to average those players' number.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that being said, at number 10, I have the Lakers with LeBron, AD, and Bronny James. No, I'm just kidding. D'Lo. LeBron, AD, and D'Lo. Great offensively. You know, LeBron's obviously taken a step back, but in terms of pure offensive production, it's a ridiculous trio. And D'Lo is a very below average defender, but with LeBron and AD, they can hold their weight. So I have them at 10. I'm going to try not to go too into. I mean, I have 10 teams to say. So the Suns. By the way, I also took this on paper. I don't know if you meant like actually projecting how good the team will do as a result of these guys, but I just took it as on paper.
Okay. Yeah. I should have specified that.
No, it's fine. I think that's the better way.
Okay.
We have no idea what's going to happen. So I have the Suns, KD, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal. Another sort of very offensively talented three. Out of the 10 teams that I have listed here, they have the second worst defensive box plus minus of the three of them. I never realized how abysmal Bradley Beal is at defense, by the way.
Oh, it's awful.
God awful. Like such a negative on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that being
The
said,
worst contract in the NBA.
Oh, I'm
Bradley
sorry.
Beal. Worst contract in the NBA right now, Bradley Beal.
What's he making right now?
54.
Oh my gosh.
Is it more than that?
For another 3 years too. After
Yeah, no trade clause, I think, too.
How are they even paying all three? Whatever. Then I have the Knicks, which I had a couple conversations with some people before this, and I think 8 might be a little low to some people. But again, defensively,
low. Okay, you think it's low? Okay, I like that. Keep going.
Okay, all right. So maybe we differ. Offensively, okay. They're great in terms of box plus minus. They're even better than the Suns and points per game. But then again, with Mikal Bridges being on the Nets last year, it's kind of hard to measure that. Their defensive box plus minus, though, is the worst of any of these 10 teams. Very shockingly, is I guess a kind of a common misconception. Mikal Bridges, as far as I'm concerned, is known as a pretty good defender, if not like really good defender. And he this year was a net -1 on defense, which was really shocking to me actually when looking at those 3 guys. I knew Brunson isn't great, Randall's not great, but I didn't expect Mikal to be such a negative for the team defensively. But maybe that'll change with coaching. I'm not sure. But
yeah, and I think him being to cut you off. I think him being the number 1 option on the Nets were a bad team, and he had a lot of load on offense. Definitely took away from that. But I mean, I was told today that Mikal Bridges is elite, and I was like, come on. He's a very good defender, and he's a good offensive player. He's not an elite player, but you know the propaganda for his defense has gone crazy the past couple years. Go ahead, sorry.
I think him and Michael Porter Jr. are like even. Honestly, I think they're about the same.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
yeah, okay.
It's my turn.
Yeah, let's keep going. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Then at 7, I have the Thunder. Took a lot for me not to put them number 1,
Ooh.
but I think number 7 is a pretty good spot for them. Once again, I think that they're going to get way better. So this is sort of just for now. They're great offensively, we know that, but defensively, they're the best team in this top 10 in terms of box plus minus. Obviously, as I was saying earlier, they have 3 of the top 7 guys in terms of stocks in the league, and Chet and Shea both being 2 of those guys. Chet's blocks probably carried a little bit. But that being said, all 3 great defenders, all 3 great offensive players. I have them at 7. Number 6, I have the Timberwolves with Ant, Cat, and Gobert. Another amazing team defensively. All 3 of them can hold their own. Cat, iffy sometimes, but overall solid defender. And obviously offensively they're great, and I think Ant's going to get even better this year. So I have them at 6. Number 5, I have the Nuggets. I have Jokic, Murray, and MPJ. Offensively, they're ridiculous. They have the second best offensive box plus minus of these teams. And this I thought was super interesting. Defensively, they have the second best box plus minus when Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. are both negatives. So that is how good Jokic is defensively, even though he gets a lot of knock. In terms of like, a statistical standpoint. Obviously the eye test can tell you some things, but I just thought that was kind of crazy that they remained very positive, even with Murray and Porter being as bad as they are. Then I have the Mavs. This one was a little tough, but I think just coming off their last season performance, it just makes sense to have them here. Luka and Kyrie. I heard this claim the other day that they might be the best offensive backcourt ever, and I actually don't think that that's too insane of a take from a scoring standpoint. But then Clay, I don't know. He's kind of up in the air. I'm not really sure what's going to go on with him. But great offensively, not the best defensively, but I can see them being, at least the top 3 offensive backcourt in the, of all time. So, and then I have the Sixers at number 3, another kind of hard one because we don't really know how they're going to play together. But on paper, Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey, just judging off last year, they have a combined points per game of 85. Obviously, that's going to go down. But even with box plus minus, they're at a 5.2, which is leagues ahead of any other team. But with context, that'll go down now that they're all on the same team. So I have them at 3. And then I have the Celtics at 2. This was a really tough one.
Ooh.
I know. It was a tough one. But as I said, this is on paper. I do still think that these 3 honestly work better together. I have Tatum, Brown, and Porzingis, by the way, as my 3. you could argue that Holiday, or maybe not Derek White, but you could argue Holiday could be in there instead of Porzingis. But they probably have the best average of offense and defense together. They're awesome offensively, and every one of them could be on an all-defensive team. So I have them at 2. And then at number 1 for on paper, I have the Milwaukee Bucks. I think that at the end of the day, they have on their own 2 MVP candidates, and Chris Middleton has been a consistent scorer for 10 years now. Outside of Dame, you got 2 awesome defenders, especially Giannis. And Dame was a little bit better on defense than I thought this year. And offensively, obviously, they're great. So, yeah, on paper, I think I have the Bucks.
Okay, so and I was writing them down. Who do you have at number 6 again? Yeah, I missed that when I was writing it down.
I have the Timberwolves at 6.
The Wolves at 6. Okay, got it. Okay. All right, so just to review, and we'll have a discussion about this in a second, but just to review, Tyler has the Lakers at 10, the Suns at 9, the Knicks at 8, the Thunder at 7, the Wolves at 6, the Nuggets at 5, the Mavs at 4, the Sixers at 3, Celtics at 2, and the Bucks at 1. So, Matt, if you want to, and if you want to just go through yours pretty quickly, that'd be
awesome. I'm
Awesome.
not going to go too in depth, but
Sorry.
I mean, no, it's okay. I mean, you value an inefficient shot chucker from Milwaukee very highly, so I guess that's your 1. I have 2 honorable mentions. The Lakers, I just didn't put them in my top 10 because D'Lo is probably the worst player out of the worst player out of anybody on this list, so I didn't put him on. And the Grizzlies were my 11th. Number 10, I have the Magic, the Chris Driscoll Magic, going to be one of the most exciting young duos in the young trios in the league. One of the most exciting young teams with Paolo, Wagner, and I don't know if to put Cole Anthony or Suggs, but I'm going to put Cole Anthony, I guess. Number 9, I have a new trio in the Kings: De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan, and Domantas Sabonis. I don't have high expectations for them, but I do love that trio. Shout out Jack Cunningham with DeMar DeRozan. At number 8, I have somebody that was kind of high on Tyler's list. I have the Dallas Mavericks. This might be unfair to them because they did just make the finals. And I have Luka, Kyrie, and Lively. I think you put Clay. I think Lively is going to play a bigger role in this team than Klay Thompson. That could be wrong, but I have Lively there. At number 7, I have your number 1, which is the Milwaukee Bucks: Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Dame. Laugh all you want. They didn't make it out of the first round this year. At number 6, I have the New York Knicks: Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and Mikal Bridges. Julius Randle's getting a lot of slander, which rightfully so. He was hurt. He is awful in the playoffs, but he is a better player than people give him credit for.
Absolutely.
At number 5, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder. Originally, I had him at 3 on this list, but I just moved him down to 5. SGA, J-Dub, and Chet. I think they're one of the most exciting trios in the league and could possibly be top 3 at the end of this year. At number 4, I have the Sixers, new trio: Embiid, Maxey, Paul George. The only thing that is keeping me from putting them higher on this list is the winning aspect. 2 of those guys really haven't. They've had a long time to prove that they could win in the big moments, and they haven't. At number 3, I have the Wolves with Ant, Cat, and Gobert. Enough said there. Great trio. At number 2, I have the Denver Nuggets. Nuggets did get worse this offseason. They did fall below expectations this season, but just purely based off trios, 2 of the best playoff risers, as we said earlier, the best player in the league in Nikola Jokic, and Aaron Gordon might play his role as a role player the best out of anybody in the league. He's awesome, especially
Absolutely.
in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And at number 1, I don't know how you can't have these guys number 1. They just won the finals.
I think that they have a big 5. I think that's honestly why I don't have them at number 1. I don't think that big 3 is necessarily what won the championship.
Okay. All right. So
I had them lower.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So Matt's list, 10 through 1. You have the Magic at 10, the Kings at 9, the Mavs at 8, the Bucks at 7, the Knicks at 6, the Thunder at 5, the Sixers at 4, the Wolves at 3, the Nuggets at 2, and the Celtics at 1. Okay. So I want to have enough time to give my all 30, so we'll save the discussions for the end. But however, I will be sharing my list right now, 21 through 30 to begin. So, and I'll be giving a brief description for each one. Let me turn off the banner real quick so you can see number 30. Right. There we go. Okay, so number 30, I have the Nets, which I have Nick Claxton, Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson. I don't know if Cam Johnson is going to be there. That's a very bad trio, though. They're not going to be good at all. We talked about them last week. Shout out Liam McAllister and James Alchus, my roommate from college. I don't know if they're going to be worse than Kyle Kuzma, Jordan Poole, and Jonas Valanciunas. I'm a huge Jonas Valanciunas guy, but this team's going to be awful. Shout out former Celtic. Shout out Malcolm Brogdon. I don't know if he's going to play with this team, but I do believe he might be better than Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma. Speaking of Malcolm Brogdon, shout out to his old teammates, Jeremy Grant, DeAndre Ayton, and Anthony Simons. They're the team I had the toughest time with because I don't know if these are the three best players. I think that Scoot Henderson might take a jump this year. Who knows? I don't know how you can take a jump in this system. I'm talking very quickly, but I don't want to talk too much about each of these property teams. But you could also add in Celtics legend Rob Williams as well. But injury factors, I do think he's a better player than DeAndre Ayton when healthy, though. So we can talk about that at another time. 27, and this was mainly because of these teams above them. This is mainly just an identity issue with them. What the hell are the Bulls doing? Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic are two players that I'm not a fan of at all. Kobe White, I'm a fan of him, but what are they going to do? I don't know what you can do around them. 26, I have speaking of, these teams are two complete opposites. The Jazz. Okay, no, sorry. The Jazz and the Bulls. The Jazz click the reset button at the right time. Laurie Markkinen, Walker Kessler, and Colin Sexton. I'm a huge fan of all three of these players. I think the Jazz should maybe trade Markkinen, unless you think that he can be a bright part of your future. Who knows? 25, I have LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, and that piece of garbage, Miles Bridges. I think if LaMelo Ball stays healthy, I think that he's going to be awesome this year. He was awesome when he was healthy this year. Brandon Miller's going to take another step, so they can be awesome. And I do believe, and Matt and I are massive fans of Charles Lee, their new head coach. Then we're going to continue on with the players in the East. We got Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, and RJ Barrett. Not much to say there. I'm a big fan of Scotty Barnes. IQ and RJ Barrett are really good role players too. Then we'll kind of go these next three guys all in one. You got the 23 through 21. You got the Spurs, the Pistons. Shout out Cade Cunningham for a new contract today, well earned. And 21, the Rockets, Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet. All three of these teams have a ton of potential. Maybe not this year, but they definitely, all three of them have bright futures. Any comments on this list so far?
I would put Chris Paul over Jeremy Shohan probably.
Yeah, that's understandable.
And Giddy over White.
What was that?
And Giddy over Kobe White.
No.
Nope, probably not. They suck either way, so it's not like they would have changed.
Okay, all right. 20 through 11. I used to be one of Trae Young's biggest haters. I am, however, now one of his biggest defenders. God awful on defense. I do believe he's one of the best offensive players in the league, though. And I'm a massive fan of Jalen Johnson as well. And Clint Capella I've always been a fan of too, but he's probably not someone you can build around for a championship. 19, I have Paul Broncaro, Franz Wagner, and Jalen Suggs. Maybe I'm underestimating them a little too much. Maybe I'm underestimating Jalen Suggs, even though I'm a fan of him. But we're gonna go over time, but that's okay. 18, I have Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, and DeJounte Murray. I'm a fan of all three of these players. Zion, it's always been a healthy issue with him. I think they'd be high on this list if Zion stayed healthy. Maybe would have given the Thunder, maybe not run for their money, but maybe would have picked up a game or two against them. 17, I have a trio that really give the Celtics a hard time: Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner. You could have definitely went with Benedict. No, not Mathurin. Who's the other player? Nembhard. Nembhard gave the Celtics a hard time too. 16, I have the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero. Don't believe in that in that fraud of a franchise anymore. Shout out to Eric Spoelstra for putting up with those guys, because I don't know, Jimmy Butler's probably gonna come in with an afro and the in the press conference, in the training day, whatever they call it, media day. But apparently all he does is play basketball, so I don't know about that. 15, I have Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and Ivica Zubac. Maybe I put them a little too high, but I still do believe in Kawhi Leonard. Not really, actually, but I would have put them higher if I still believes in them. But if he was healthier, he definitely would be higher. 14, I have Michael Cleveland Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and Jared Allen. You could definitely put Evan Mobley here instead of Allen, but Allen is the better player as of now. 13, I have the brand new duo, the Kings, De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, and DeMar DeRozan. Not much to say there. Yeah, Matt touched on a lot of that. 12, I do have Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins. I still believe in Steph Curry and Draymond Green for that matter. If the two of them are able to stay healthy and stay on the court for that matter. Like Draymond seemed to get better at that towards the end of the year, but I don't know if we'll see if he do that for the full season. And who knows, maybe Andrew Wiggins goes back to closer to his 2022 form, but probably not. Number 11, I have the John Morant, JJJ, and Desmond Bain. That's I'm a huge fan of all three of these players, and I'm expecting big things from all of them. Any takeaways? If you have one thing to say, you can say it.
I think the Heat are definitely a top 30 trio. I think you gave them way too much credit putting them at 16.
That's all.
That's all. Okay, great. Okay, and my top 10. Number 10, I have the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, Mikal Bridges. I really hope that Matthew's roommate Dean is screaming into his pillow now, or throwing something against the wall. Number 9, but just keep in mind, guys, I should have given this clarification at the beginning of my list. This is based on if I want to build around these three guys, building around the three guys for next year. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing it based on. I'm not doing it based on the rest of the roster. Number 9, I have KD, Booker, and Beal. So while it may seem like they're a little redundant, I do believe that they're easier to build around than Brunson, Randle, and Mikal. 8, I do have LeBron, AD, and Austin Reeves. You could definitely put D'Lo there instead, but I do believe LeBron and AD are two of the easiest players to build around, hands down. But the Lakers are just awful doing it. At 7, I do have Luka, Kyrie, and PJ Washington. You could definitely go with Derek Lively instead. Again, I don't believe in Klay Thompson at all. He's a great shooter. They already have shooting though. They have, but not really actually not that great shooting, but they just shot awful in the playoffs. I have SGA, Chet, and J-Dub at 6, and Gobert and Cat at 5, Embiid, Maxey, and PG at 4, Giannis, Dame, and Middleton at 3. I'm expecting Dame to have a bounce back year, and if Giannis stays healthy, watch out. Jokic, Murray, and MPJ at 2, and Tatum, Brown, and Porzingis at 1. Any takeaways from my top 10?
I was pretty close, honestly. Very similar.
Yeah.
Mavericks a lot lower.
I
actually think Reeves deserves to be in that trio over Russell upon further review. Reeves, I think that he probably is the better.
It's close. Yeah.
I think it's interesting. We all three of us picked the Mavericks in our top 10, and we all had a different third option.
That's right.
I also think the Suns, like Bradley Beal stinks. He stinks. He can't play defense. He doesn't stay healthy, and offensively, he was like good, like kind of good this year. I don't know.
KD and Booker have arguments to be top 12 players, though.
Yes. Very top heavy trio. Very top heavy team.
You could say the same thing about the Lakers too.
Yeah, they weren't in my top 10 either.
Oh, they weren't. Okay.
No.
Oh, yeah. True. Yeah. Okay. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
You really
all right.
think the Magic are a better trio than the Lakers, Matt?
Yeah, probably not. Probably
The
not.
Magic.
Probably not. I was working today.
Davis.
Yeah.
LeBron and
Okay.
Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Yeah,
We
you're
are over. We are over. I haven't heard anything. I haven't got anything from my producer, but still, I do feel bad when we go over, even though this was fun. But let me get my thing back on. Boom. Okay. All right. So, Ty, thanks so much for coming on the show. John, we missed you today. We luckily did have a good replacement for you. But we're very excited for you and your new job. I'm going to do some great things there. But we're very excited to have you back on the show eventually. That'll probably be towards the end of the summer, but we'll see. But Matt, as per usual, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming on. I'm looking forward to doing this again next week. But for now, perfect timing. Make sure to follow All American Hooper on all social media platforms. On TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to @SportsFluence on YouTube to catch every episode Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Take a look at my column on primetimesportstalk.com. And I guess just to finish off the show, I'm going to just quote Chilltown. Wear a suit, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive, call your mother. And I hope everyone else had an awesome time watching the show. And have a great night, everyone.
Shout out, John.